Hello and welcome to sportingways.com. My name's Thomas Rooney. I'm joined by Peter South once again. We're going to start by looking back at the midweek Premier League results. So we're going to just go through each game as usual and just have a few thoughts on each. Start with probably one of the biggest games over the 2 days. Blackburn 1, Bolton 2. Massive win. It was I think El Sapio or something it was called. A massive win for Bolton, and it was a horrendous atmosphere at Ewood Park for Steve Keane, and the views he got was pretty horrific.
It was the most peculiar atmosphere I've ever seen at a football game. It was a mixture of sort of passion because the game was real end-to-end stuff. There was so much going on. Then there's real hatred for Keane and the Keane out stuff, and then it was such a contrast to see the Bolton fans supporting Bolton and even the Blackburn fans supporting Bolton. It was so peculiar.
I mean, it was one of those. It was on the surface of it. It was just a crappy Premier League game, but it was just so much more than that, just because of the abuse Keane got and the owners really.
Exactly, and the thing is, you could kind of build as a loser would lose their job, and Steve Keane's still hanging in there. He looks like he's going to make it through Christmas.
I don't think that was the case for Coyle, but I think that was just obviously.
Keane,
Okay, and Wolves 2, Norwich 2. This was another frantic game. Obviously, the Blackburn Bolton got a lot of the attention, given it was a big game. But a great result for us. I think it's an away point. It's another game we could have won, similar to Everton, where we were ahead twice in this game, but pegged back, and then probably could have lost it at the end. A couple of chances for Wolves. But 2 away games, 2 points. I think Norwich would be fairly happy, and Wolves maybe disappointed they didn't win this one.
Yeah, I think, what you just said there might, I don't know if it's slight concern for Norwich fans, in as much as if you've gone ahead in games and thrown away leads, does it sort of become, what points become concern and not 3 points coming your way?
I think away from home, I think in these sort of games, I think we're scoring goals, which is the biggest thing. I think teams like Swansea may be struggling to get a goal on the road, but it's just one of those things. I think, as Lambert said afterwards, it's a game we could have won, it's a game we could have lost, but we got a point.
Yeah,
so I think we've got to be happy.
Especially with Swansea and QPR still playing.
Yeah, we're doing just fine.
Exactly.
Okay, moving on to Wednesday's results. Aston Villa 1, Arsenal 2. I think Villa are a little bit unlucky in this one. They gave it a good go, but Arsenal, in the end, late goal for Premier League to get the points.
It was so good to see Aston Villa put up a fight. They probably deserved a point from it. And just seeing Nzogby running with the ball and looking dangerous, and Bannon and Albrighton sort of fizzing around there. It looked such a different prospect to the team that played Liverpool. They might as well have been a completely different side. It was a much improved performance.
They were more of the same, weren't they? Just to get the results.
Exactly. And Arsenal, they ground that result as they needed to do.
Everton 1, Swansea 0. I mentioned Norwich drew Everton last time out, so it's just important Everton got the points. They are struggling for goals, but this is an important win and Osman getting a goal.
Yeah, and I think you pointed out last week when Everton played Norwich, you said they lacked a bit of fizz, but Royce Drenthe came in and he did look sharp, and he looks a bit arrogant, like strutting around. Leon Osman looks sharp, and you know that Sahara, obviously they've got a few little players now coming through, especially with Landon Donovan coming. Maybe they should be able to kick on a little bit, and they did look a little bit better. Though they probably should have got more than one goal on the night.
Fulham 0, Manchester United 5. This was a convincing win for United. They are back in the goals again over the Christmas period when the fixtures come in thick and fast. They're getting the goals. Yeah. And some very good goals as well. Some
very good goals, but I've got a Manchester United friend of mine who said the Fulham performance competed with Aston Villa for the worst performance in the Premier League he'd ever seen.
From Fulham, yeah.
From Fulham, yeah. They were defensively woeful, they were flat, they were lacklustre, looked like they couldn't be bothered, and probably they were lucky to get away with a 5-goal deficit in the end.
Even Berbatov scored at the end.
Exactly, yeah.
Manchester City 3, Stoke 0. We talk about easy wins, this was as easy as it comes for Mancini and Co. I mean, I think Stoke had a few players that were injury down, so left them out, and it was just a walk in the park.
Oh, certainly, yeah. Just seeing the flair of Aguero and Silva and players like that strut through Stoke who looked out of their depth. No, that's no criticism. But then Tony Pulis came out afterwards and said we were out of our depth, and Manchester City looked so sharp. In fact, both Manchester City both had their games wrapped up inside the first half.
Newcastle 2, West Brom 3. Newcastle's struggles continue. They've had a few games they've looked at thought they should be getting the points, but they haven't. And a great second away win in the road for West Brom.
Yeah, the bad run continues for Newcastle, doesn't it? We've said it before, what point does a bit of a blip turn into a bad run and they're seeing a fall down? If, at the start of the season, if you said to Pardew and Newcastle, would you want this X amount of points, they would have said they've had a better start overall, taking consideration the good and the bad, so they will take their going to Christmas, but, I mean, just to point out Demba Ba, by the way, what a sign is probably the sign of the season, but no, West Brom look really sharp. I really like the combination of Brunt, Odemwingie. They look sharp together. Yeah.
And Odom, it's good for him to get back in the goals on when
and Shane Long as well. So they've got a few striking options up front.
QPR 2, Sunderland 3. The O'Neill effect works again. I mean, not particularly surprised by that because obviously he's a very good manager, but a good result against the QPR side that have actually struggled at home this year. They've only won once at home, I think.
Yeah, and you've got Nicholas Bentner scoring as well, which is absolutely outrageous. No, I think QPR will be very, very disappointed with this one. They conceded a couple of really soft goals. Sessegnon's goal, the second one, was so soft to me. It was a good finish, really good run, but it was so soft in the first goal as well. And they'll be so disappointed.
Especially having got back to 2-2 and then
exactly.
They lost it again.
They deserve it, because once again you saw Adel Terabati got his cockiness back. Alejandro Forlan was getting forward. They were just looking sharp, and they'd be so disappointed that it was such a soft cup goal that really did for them.
You mentioned Bentner's rare goal. Where's Brown? He got the winner.
Exactly.
First goal since 2008 or something like that.
Yeah, did that coming.
And final game: Wigan 0, Liverpool 0. Another good point for Wigan after drawing home to Chelsea. I mean, Liverpool were expected to go there and get the points, but didn't happen.
Well, they obviously had a bit of a cloud hanging over their heads. I don't know how much that would have affected them or not, but they still had plenty of chances. Obviously, the missed penalty with Charlie Adam, but Ali Al-Habsi was once again an amazing performance. He's got to be in contention for goalkeeper of the year because he's just outrageous at times.
And that's it. Merry Christmas, everyone.